Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this narration of the web novel Humans Don't Make Good Familiars, taken from Reddit. If you are new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 70. "Jake, the doctor is ready for you," the receptionist announced. "Thank you," I said and walked to our office. We had several meetings since the first time after the attack in the alley, so I didn't need to be led to our office anymore. I knocked on the door and walked in. "Hey, Dr. Maxwell," I said. "Hello, Jake. How have you been?" she asked, smiling. "I've been good. Been getting lots of exercise and stuff," I told her and sat on the couch. I'd been preparing for this for a while now, planning what I was going to say and how I was going to say it. "So, what's new?" she asked and took a seat in the chair opposite me. "Well, actually, do you remember my friend I told you about? The one who was with me in the alley? Suma," I asked. "I do," she said. "Why?" "She wants to talk to you. She's been dealing with a lot of stress lately, and recently she and I were both offered a pretty major decision that we need to make. I thought that it would be a good idea for her to talk with a professional about it, so I reminded her of your offer," I explained. "Ah, well, I'm happy to see her whenever she needs," Dr. Maxwell said. "That's great, because she wants to see you now," I said. This was the part I was dreading. This was the part that would make me look crazy. "Like, now? Is she here?" the doctor wondered. In a manner of speaking, yes." I took a deep breath and began my pre-rehearsed speech. "Okay, so this is going to make me sound crazy, but in order for you to see her, we need to hold hands for a few seconds. Suma is actually a magic user from another world, and she is also a tiny bird person from a race called the Niema. In order to get to her, we hold hands, then I'll contact her, and she'll summon me. Then we will be transported to her world. From there, she'll induce a mind link and show you some of her memories, and that will allow you to understand her." I gasped deeply to regain my breath after that long an explanation, and waited for her response. After a few moments of silence, she finally answered, "Okay." I was stunned. I couldn't believe that it was that easy. You believe me?" I asked, doubtful. "No, but I do believe that letting you try will help break your delusion, and then we can treat the underlying problem. Honestly, I can't believe I didn't realize how precarious your mental state was. So, if letting you hold my hand for a moment is what it's going to take for you to start healing, then I am willing to entertain you for a few moments," she said. Honestly, I couldn't blame her, but at least she would let me try. "Thank you," I said. "Suma, you can summon us now," I announced after I held the doctor's hand. "Now, Doctor, don't freak out when your arms and legs start to vanish. Oh, okay?" "Oh, I won't," she reassured me. A second later, her feet had already been fully transported, and so had the top of her head. She looked horrified, probably because she was seeing it happen to me, just as I was watching it happen to her. Needless to say, she panicked. Suma's point of view. "Suma, you can summon us now," Jake announced. I'd only been waiting on his signal for a short time, but it felt like ages. I immediately began the summoning, and as soon as it was completed and they arrived, my ears were filled with the sounds of distressed shrieking. I couldn't understand what the person was saying, but they seemed upset. Jake tried hard to calm the woman down, though. "I told you what would happen." The woman gave some kind of response, a rather loud one at that. "Yes, but you can't say I lied, or that I didn't make it clear." There was a moment of silence as the two stared at one another. "So, this is Suma," Jake said, gesturing at me. "Hello," I greeted, but then remembered that she wouldn't be able to understand me either. I went ahead and started sharing my memories, so that we would be able to understand each other. She seemed surprised and began saying something again. "I told you, remember? She would share some memories so that you would be able to understand her language." "Don't worry, doesn't hurt." Jake tried to reassure her. It seemed to help, however slightly. "Done," I said. I showed her all the way up to just after I was released from the interrogation room. That way she would understand how everything happened. Jake had suggested the idea. That bird talks. End of chapter. Chapter 71. Suma's point of view. It sounds like you've been through a lot. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about it all? The therapist, Dr. Maxwell, asked. After she had calmed down and understood what was happening, she seemed eager to talk to me and help me if she could. She was sitting on a pillar of vines Jake had made for her before giving us some privacy and went outside for a while. I suppose the first thing that I think of is what happened in... No, that's not true. The first thing I think of is my parents, I said. Your parents? Can you tell me a bit about them? In what context? However you want. I thought about her request for a moment. Well, my mum is protective. When I told her I volunteered for the military, she became quite upset. My dad has always been distant. But that's normal, I guess. Normal? Dr. Maxwell asked. How so? Well, fathers rarely have anything to do with their children. Is that normal on your world? She wondered. Oh yes, but my family has never really been normal. In what way? Well, most Niam are raised by only a single parent, usually the mother. It is rare occurrence for the father to be involved in any significant way. I see, she nodded, that she understood. And how do you feel about that? Or, more specifically, how do you feel about your father? I love him. He's been with me my entire life, but our relationship has always been strained, I explained. And why do you think that is? I don't know, really. Maybe it's because we are too different, or too similar. Sua, I have a question, yes? After your attack, what did your parents do? Dr. Maxwell asked softly. They didn't come to see me for a while. They disappeared from my life for nearly a week. When I asked them why, I could feel my heartbeat increasing as I spoke. I was getting frustrated, just thinking about it. When I asked them why, they said that it was because they were afraid. Afraid? She sounded confused. Afraid of what? Of you? No. Afraid of Jake. Jake, who had protected me. Who has stayed with me without leaving my side for even a moment. Jake, who comforted me when I thought that I had been responsible for killing someone, even though he himself was also suffering in the same way. And they were afraid of him. Jake's point of view. I walked around in Suma's training camp while she talked to Dr. Maxwell. It was surprisingly large, not in height, but rather it was all spread out. I guess they made sense though, seeing as all Niama could fly. I heard voices in the distance, both of which sounded familiar. Walking towards them, I saw Vindicta and Von Pack perched outside the tent made of dirt that connected to a large earthen dome. Hey, you two, I announced. Oh, hello, Jake, Vindicta said. Greetings, Jake, Von Pack said. But he sounded a little less enthusiastic. What are you doing here? Training ended hours ago. I would have assumed that you would have gone home by now. Yeah, but Suma needed me for something, so I came back for a bit, I said. And where is Suma? Normally you two are all but inseparable while in camp, Vindicta pointed out. She is talking to a friend. I'm giving her a few minutes alone. Why not just send you back then? Surely you would rather be in your world than ours, especially if you were limited to a single trading camp, Von Pack questioned. That's, a long story. But the short and sweet of it is it's safer if I stay here for a while they talk. They seemed confused, but didn't press the issue. Instead, I asked them a question. So what are you two doing outside alone at sundown? I teased. Nothing. We're just talking, Vindicta Diddy yelled. I smiled at Von Pack, who avoided my gaze. Well, I'm going to go explore the camp a bit. I almost never see anything other than the training area, after all. See you two later, I said, and beat a hasty retreat from the two embarrassed nymphs. I continued looking around the camp and saw another Niama sitting outside another dome. It was the Niama from the other day's training. Hello, I called out. He looked around confused until he eventually saw me. You're Lbry, right? I didn't get to finish as he immediately spread his wings and flew away. I'm kind of offended. Wow. End of chapter. The algorithm reckons you should be watching this video next, and I recommend that you should be always watching my video. So, click. Well,
Archie!
And yes, clicking that does help the channel. Thank you very much. I would just quickly like to give thanks to our Tier 5 members: Elithia, Barky, Fudicule, Meridian117, Cam Maxwell, Caspar Arnholtz, Albard and Gusta, Savage Patch Papa, and Lord Azrakal.